WordPress Accessibility Day 2024. Same editor, same language. How Gutenberg's accessibility enhances creativity and inclusion, with speakers Elena Brescacin, accessibility consultant at Tangity Design, NTT Data Italy, and Gloria Liuni, web designer at GlowWeb. This presentation was recorded October 2024.
Hi everyone, welcome to WordPress Accessibility Day 2024. My name is Igapo Ipai and I am COO from Plant Africa. Thank you so much for joining us for Same Edit, Same Language, how Gutenberg's accessibility enhances creativity and inclusion with Gloria Liuni and Elena Brescacin. Gloria is a freelance web designer who has been passionate about WordPress since 2009. She's involved in the WordPress community as the moderator of the Italian Support Forum, organizer of local WordCamps, and organizer of Turin WordPress Meetup. She has been a speaker on several occasions promoting the use of Gutenberg. She likes to experiment with the new FSC full site editing system. She teaches the use of WordPress with easy and kind words. She loves taking long walks with her dog. Elena works as an accessibility consultant at Tangity, a NTT data design company. Totally blind since birth, her passion for technology allows her to find best solutions to everyday life's challenges that she doesn't own, or at least know. Other hobbies include playing chess, word games, true crime podcasts, and she maintains a blog together with an HIV-positive friend where they invent stories against HIV stigma. Please feel your questions in the Zoom question and answer section, and we'll answer them at the end of the section. Use the chat to connect with other attendees.
Okay. So let's go. Start. Hi everyone, I'm Gloria and my co-presenter is Elena. Our first connection, Elena and Gloria. My connection to social network is not constant, but one day I was lucky to find a very interesting content. Elena replies to the Facebook support group, and her contribution inspired me. The Gutenberg editor had only been introduced a few years ago, and many people still preferred not to use it. Meeting a blind person who instead found Gutenberg an important resource was exciting. So I contacted her in DM and pushed her to apply as speaker for the next WordCamp Italia. Elena.
Yes, I have been very, very surprised to be invited to WordCamp. I was just replying to the support request into Facebook about one of many Italian support communities. It's it's called SOSWP. It's an Italian community that makes business by WordPress support, and she invited me to speak to that WordCamp, and I could say what could I do in that field, because I was very, very rusty in the use of WordPress. I was very, very, let's say, rusty, because I did not know what to do. Gutenberg was quite new for me, but I already discovered it was accessible via a keyboard. So I caught the chance and I spoke to the WordCamp. Gloria have believed in me, and I took it to the next level, bringing to the WordPress 2021 online WordCamp explaining how Gutenberg was used as a content editor through Markdown syntax. It was very, very easy. I just pasted files, Markdown files into the editor, and it automatically processed headings, titles, links, and etc. I had superpowers then in editing files, and I was pleased to share it with the public.
Okay. Okay, full site editing. Full site editing will change how everyone use Teams and how we build them. But what is the full site editing? Site editing is a set of new WordPress features that help us build and edit all parts of our website using blocks. Site editor, global styles, block themes, patterns, and theme.json. Fullsiteediting.com is an educational resource for learning about the features. I have been following Project Gutenberg for several years, and on a theoretical level, I also follow the introduction of the full FSE. The first time I used it for real was the realization of the WordCamp Torino 2023 website. And then I gave a speech at Verona 2023 on how to take the first step with FSE. Finally, I was part of the WC EU 2024 website team, and I learned to practice template and then blocks very well. Elena.
Yeah, so I heard about full site editing in the WordCamp, online WordCamp 2021, where I was a speaker. Being charmed by Gutenberg, I was very, very enthusiastic of this further step, but I wasn't. It was not ready then. I was using another theme, another template system that was called GeneratePress, and it was very, very basic. I did not care about layout and so on. But I had in mind to switch sooner or later. In the years 2022 and 23, in the meanwhile, full site editing came out of beta stage, and I started to see what it was all about. Then the make.wordpress.org accessibility rule provided information about WordPress backend being accessible, core WordPress backend being accessible, second level WCAG, and I was enthusiastic because I saw that I could build one interface like it was let's call it like bricks, like Lego bricks. I could move elements around and so on, but I was lost because I did not know about how to use it. I needed advices. I needed suggestions. I just tried to work to consult the fullsiteediting.com website by Carolina Neymar. I'm sorry for the pronunciation, but I did not find sufficient help because it had no accessibility support. I just took the chance to say that it should be done one section dedicated to creators with disability into the Learn WordPress area.
Okay, next. We often use a page builder in the backend, but the page builder are accessibility, Elena?
Well, this is the question, if page builders are accessible or not. A page builder, a site builder, as a definition, is very, very complex. Is a very, very complex environment compared to the normal front-end reading information and basic interaction. I tried many of them. Elementor, Divi, Site Origin Page Builder. Now I think Gloria is showing the equalized digital report by an Excel file where the approach of various page builders has been created in this Excel. But what's the big deal? It's because this report is about front end. I mean, what developers can do to make a front end accessible. But as far as I know, there is no a report, no documentation on how back end is in accessibility, how Elementor, Divi, and so on are facing the authoring tool accessibility guidelines. Gutenberg is the best I have found because you can do everything by keyboard. I tried Elementor, I tried Divi, I tried everyone, but no one was satisfying me. I even found once the site origin, site builder. It was, I think that was the name. It was declaring it was accessible, priority accessible, second priority WCAG accessibility, but it just had the tab index elements. So you reached everything by tab, but you had no heading, no semantic HTML or semantic code to indicate that it was accessible. So in the end, I said bye-bye and switched to better, waited for better times. And in fact, it has come with Gutenberg. And now I am satisfied by Gutenberg.
Thank you, Elena.
The Excel, I was forgetting, is coming from Equalized Digital, and it's their, I think in their site you can find, if blind people or someone want to see, they can find Equalized Digital accessibility page builder report or something like similar.
Perfect. Now, the core, teacher-student, double learning experience. What's your experience, Elena?
Well, as I said, my relationship networking with Gloria has been based on each other's mutual trust and believing in each other. So she has believed in me when I spoke to WordCamp, and I could believe in her about full site editing. She spoke at WordCamp Verona last year, 2023. And I had a speech also into the WordCamp that was called Blind Blog Independence. I created the word blind by blog and independence. So then I knew that full site editing was out of beta stage, and I asked her for help because as I said before, I got lost. I got lost because it was not just the basic interface on Gutenberg. My worst experience was because when I changed it from GeneratePress to 2024 default theme, all my menus disappeared. I found the page was switched to a default one. What's that? I have lost everything. So I asked, please, Gloria, help me. If you can teach me the interface and so on. Gutenberg is accessible, has screen reader support, so we can take each other hand by hand and we will help. I thought she could be afraid of this experience, but in the end it went very very smooth. Now I let her express her point of view.
Okay, teaching a blind person has been challenging because I had to change my method, replacing the graphic symbols explanation with the text names. For example, instead of back arrow, I had to say press the button name back. And I could not use terms that were familiar to me, like hamburger menu. For example,
The pencil. She told me edit.
No, I show maybe I show the backend, but I lost. I'm exciting. I'm a lost. Okay, now I found the hamburger. Sorry, the hamburger menu.
Hamburger menu.
Okay. Repeat. Hamburger menu correspond which corresponds to menu action, or another terms. Vabbè. Vediamo. Sorry, I don't found the okay. Fine. Or the pencil icon. The pencil icon which correspond to edit element. This term I could not use. One of the difficult was that the screen reader detect content that I could see on the screen because it was out of the above the fold. I therefore had to ask Elena to move the tab so that I could see what she was doing. The glossary. To prepare a glossary accessible to both blind and sighted people required a discussions. What worked for Elena did not work for me, and the opposite. Now Elena tells you which compromise we found.
Yeah. So let me say that I have tried many strategies for the glossary. I used the plugin, the Code8 was the pronunciation, plugin glossary. And but it did not satisfy me, especially for back-end accessibility. It's not so accurate accessibility of its backend. So I said I want to create a simple one, a page with terms and so on. The problem came because I needed to place the navigation letter, the alphabet letters. For me, it was very functional to have a list of letters before. The first element could be the navigation letters, then all the terms, and that's all. Headings, one heading level 2 for the letter and one heading level 3 for the term, the corresponding term. With after each term a top back to menu link to go back to the navigation. But if it could be functional for screen reader users, because it was easy to jump among links and headings, for a sighted person, the experience could be was not friendly at all, because you had the screen going back and forth, changing the page, and the glossary could be very important to understand the technical terms, to not create misunderstandings and so on. So it had to be an experience, a friendly experience for both target public, target audience. So Gloria found, with me and Gloria, I had to explain her screen reader logic, and that's why I called the my speech same editor, same language, because Gutenberg has the same structure of a screen reader. If you have, for example, the list view, the blocks list view, you will see that it's a tree structure. If you have the column group, you have column 1, and under column 1 there is column 2. So I had no trouble to tell Gloria, look, it's the logical order is not correct, because you have column 1 with the content of the page, with terms and actual words, and then you have letters. It makes no sense, because I have to read first the letters, the navigation, and then the terms. So what Gloria did was helping me to have a right sidebar to the right side, a fixed sidebar to the right side, and a content, a duplicated menu with letters before the glossary term. It's limited because it has not the search field and other features, but for few terms that they are, I did not invest too much time to do such an effort.
Perfect. Another task. Query loop organized page. Okay. Okay. The query loop all of the display of the latest article. It's also possible to add a filter to select the latest article of a specific category. So the query loop is the method used to show the content dynamically. Elena has a story split in chapters, and we needed to show it in order. This is the quest. Go, Elena, go.
Gloria is showing the story of the screen of our how we implemented the feature. Well, in this case, we noticed one important, let's call it gap, wall, barrier, let's call it as you want, because if sighted people do not understand completely how a blind person can reason while navigating a page, it's valid it's valid the opposite as well. That is, well, I was born blind, and I could study whatever I want, but I will never know for sure and mathematically certain what a sighted person wants, likes, and what is the best user experience for a sighted person. So what I created was a query loop with a pager, the long introduction to the story, characters, and so on. And then my plan was to have 10 chapters or 5 chapters, whatever, then pager, next page. So unfortunately, I used my point of view. I said there are jumping elements. There are the skip to main content. There is the headings. There are links. There are the possibility to find the text in a page. Everyone could jump the introduction. But a cited point of view said no, it's not true, because when you have you skip to another page to read the next chapters, you have again all the long page of introduction, and it's not a good user experience. The readers just close the window and skip. Keep your story for yourself. So what we did was to find a compromise that is the query loop is set to order to sort the story alphabetically, from 01 to 20, to let it go as they are 20 chapters. They are every chapter is displayed with its summary in a list, and there is an anchor link showing the introduction, skipping the introduction, sorry. Then into the internal chapter, into the every single story chapter, we just placed the navigation block, previous and next, filtered by the taxonomy term concerning the specific story.
Okay, you right very much. We are in the backend of the template for this content, and like Elena says, we used a prev next Gutenberg block and filtered the results by taxonomy. So we can read every chapter of the story one by one. Perfect. Next, typography and headings. Return to glossary. One day I noticed that the headings text of glossary was unreadable, too small. To understand what happened, we had to work together, synchronize it. I placed the correct size in the glossary headings, but when Elena added new terms, the problem was there again. I followed her movements on screen until I noticed that the tabbing of typography settings, the small option selected automatically when focused. Your turn, Elena.
Yes. I'm afraid, I fear it's a long-lasting Gutenberg bug, because when you write a block, a paragraph or a title or whatever block which supports typography, then you move with the tab key to reach the block settings, and you just when you are in interaction mode, screen reader, because I explained, Gloria, that screen readers have mostly two modes, browse mode or virtual cursor or navigation mode. Every screen reader has its name. And interaction mode that lets interact with elements directly. So in interaction mode, when I pressed the tab to the text size settings, the radio button, the first radio button regarding the text settings gets switched on unrequested just by placing the focus on it. So I assumed it was normal behavior, that the small was the default size, and I left it like that. But then Gloria has, thanks to the synchronized cooperation, we just discovered that it's an error, a possible error, and maybe to reset the settings, we had to revert the settings to the block setting to default size.
Perfect. Last but not least, last challenge has been to create a website English version without plugins, because multilingual solution, just like page builders, often do not consider accessibility support. Based on Workcamp Torino 2023 site realization in Italian plus English, we created templates and pages. Currently, FSE does not support template duplication, so we had to copy and paste every single block from a template to another. We have added basic language switch functionality. Italian and English flags point to corresponding home page Italian and home page English. The real challenge came we decided to add a search field, because by default WordPress searches within all its content. We tested a few plugins, but the one that had the function we needed were not accessible for Elena. So we had to adopt to a custom solution.
I enter in detail because this is still a work in progress adventure. This multilingual site. I tried many plugins, WP Translate, Polylang, WPML, and so on, but besides accessibility needs that were not every need was covered, as my website mostly fiction stories have inside word games and things that cannot be automatically rendered into English, or at least the content cannot be the same, let's say that. I had to choose to do it on my own. So we just created 2 headers, 2 footers, 4 sidebars, Italian English for real and Italian English for fantasy. The patterns and the template parts, I had to practice with these new terms and new concepts that Gloria has accurately explained me what they were. And then every time I have to write a post, I manually switch the template from one to another. So search field, WordPress search block has no has no customization. You cannot set the query bar slash queries. You can use. You cannot address it to use queries, or well, you can edit it in Gutenberg's code view. You can establish which ID, category ID, or taxonomy to use, but not in the interface. So I just called one external dev, which helped me to create this. The intervention from PHP to interface, because if Gutenberg helped me to create the basic query, and by JSON code I added manually the taxonomy, then the results came not it was not coherent. There was no coherence between the results and its header or footer. You got the result with text in English, but header and footer in Italian. That's not good. So the developer has helped me to make the search check for template. But then another trouble happened. It was language, screen reader language, because when you set the language of WordPress, HTML language attribute changes accordingly, and it is a good behavior, it is the correct behavior. But if the WordPress language is set in Italian by default and you are reading English content, screen reader has the wrong pronunciation, and vice versa. So what did I do? I consulted both Google and artificial intelligence, and changed, edited manually the developer's plugin, adding if category, whatever, blog post, whatever, switch locale to Italian or English accordingly. Then what was the challenge was in common areas. Common area means archives, authors, 404 error. The heading remained in Italian, so helping with the help of the artificial intelligence, I created some very basic, very rudimental code, because I am not a coder. I want to remind it that I am not a developer. So I with the aid of this automated tools, I created those basic if-else conditions. If checking the category, checking the author, the post slash page author, and to change the language accordingly. If the author is English, please change English and Italian and so on. And then, inspired by another plugin basic plugin developed by an Egyptian developer, it's called IntelliBuilder. It deals with visibility blocks, block visible or invisible according to conditions. I discovered that you can use check for browser language, and finally I found the challenge to register a shortcode, WordPress shortcode, so that if the browser language is Italian, show the text enclosed into ITA shortcode. Or if you have the English shortcode, this text enclosed into English shortcode is shown if browser language is different from Italian. It's very basic because it has It has not a multilingual exclusive functionality, but for the moment is what I need and what respects my needs. So I just share my experience.
Perfect. And now, okay. In the slide of this talk, we found our contacts, and thank you. We finish it.
You can find me on LinkedIn, on the Slack, on WordPress.org Slack, on Mastodon, there are my
Everywhere.
WordPress.
You are everywhere, Elena.
Yes.
Okay. Any question? You
Any
are okay?
question?
Thank you so much, Elena and Gloria, for that lovely, lovely session. And thank you everyone for listening. Just remember that you can ask your questions in the Q&A section, and they will be available to answer all of them. Okay. So yes, we have a question. We have a question from David Denedo. Says, in your opinion, is the editor backend of full site editing more accessible for visually impaired developers than classic themes like WordPress? I don't know who would like to take that, Elena or Gloria?
Elena.
So I think it depends on the point of view, because as I said, I am not a coder. So I find the interface, the user interface, more easier to handle than the code, because you have not to worry about many things, many errors. Something can go wrong and block everything. So it's quite accurate. The accessibility of interface is quite accurate. I think it can be improved because you should personalize more. For example, the search block, it could be integrate, much more personalization should be made. Should be possible using the search block. But if you are a coder, if you can deal with code and so on, you could find a classic editor easier. From my point of view, I was very, very upset to hear that many blind people still use classic editor. Gutenberg is not a nuclear weapon, so I think give it a try, because if no one gives a try to it, we never get you never become aware of bugs, of what to improve. If people are unhappy, please use it and share the experience to proper GitHub and so on spaces.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. We have another question from, okay, so we have another question. It says, have you found that any other plugins hinder the accessibility of the full site editor?
No, I didn't understand. Have you found?
Okay, so the person is asking if there are any other plugins that hinder the accessibility of the full site editor.
Okay.
Other plugins, there are many good Gutenberg-based blocks plugins, but some they do not. I don't know if they take care of accessibility so much. It depends on the developers how aware they are, if they use native core functionalities or they customize the interface. Yes, I found, for example, a plugin called the Ultimate Block that Gloria and I were using for table of content to add the table of content to stories, but they were not accessible because you could not, screen reader did not detect which element was turned on or off, checkboxes, radio buttons, and so on. So it's always a challenge when dealing with third-party plugins. My invitation for developers is, please do it accessible because it makes it improve gives more chance to creators.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Elena, for this insightful session. And thank you everyone for attending the session with Gloria, Liuni, and Elena Brescacin. You can continue the yes, you're welcome. You can continue the conversation in the chat or on social media using hashtag WPA11YDay and hashtag WPAD2024. We also appreciate it if you go to 2024wpaccessibility.day/feedback to provide anonymous feedback for our speakers on their presentation. You can also enter to win a t-shirt while you're there. So stay tuned for inclusive design strategies for WordPress professionals coming up next with Johnny Albert at 7 a.m. UTC. And while you're waiting, don't forget to visit our sponsors page and grab virtual swag and enter for a chance to win great prizes. See you right here after the break. Thank you.
Thank you to WordPress Accessibility Day 2024 sponsors. Platinum sponsor 20i. Easily build, deploy, and manage all your projects with 20i managed WordPress hosting. One UI for all your servers, apps, sites, databases, security, DNS, and email. Perfect for agencies, e-commerce, developers, multi-site hosting, and high-traffic sites. Platinum sponsor Equalize Digital. Since all they do is accessibility, every post on their blog is an accessibility resource. You can find webinar recordings, articles, and additional resources at equalizedigital.com/resources. Platinum sponsor WP Engine. WP Engine provides the most relied upon and trusted WordPress products for businesses, brands, and agencies of all sizes. Thanks to our gold sponsors, GoDaddy, Grackle Docs, Gravity Forms, Green Geeks, TPGI, and Yoast. And thank you to our silver sponsors, CodeGeek, Drake Cooper, Elementor, Overnight Website, Pressable, Second Melody, and Accessibility Collective.